So in this video for the What Happened to series, I'm going to look at Morbius, a champion who I took to rank 3. I think he was like my 8th rank 3 or something, so I've been playing him for quite a bit of time. And he released in 2023, which means he's still a relatively newer character. So yeah, he definitely belongs on this list for kind of the themes I'm trying to do, where I pick a champion who was released relatively recently who just kind of underperformed in comparison to the rest of the year. And I think, yeah, Morbius is kind of no exception to that. So what does Morbius really do? Well, his main thing that he does is he drops a very fat special 2. That's kind of his whole gimmick, kind of what you're mainly using Morbius for if you decide to play him. He drops a very large special 2. As you can see here, 351,000 damage on the special 2 with no class advantage. And if you have class advantage, it feels even that much better. And yeah, you just finish off the opponent a little bit with basics once that happens, and then you move on. But yeah, Morbius, again, you drop big special 2s, but like, what else do you do? There's got to be some other things that Morbius has in his kit. Well, one cool thing that he does have in his kit is the ability to place a Petrify, which is going to reduce the ability power rate and regen rate of his opponent, but it caps out relatively early. I think it caps at 100%, so you will be able to fully cancel out regen and ability power rate. And then of course, if you are running Despair, you can actually reverse a little bit of healing. But let's be real, there's so many better science champs for reversing healing right now. Leader, Nefaria, 2 champs who were released literally last year, who just do that so much better than Morbius. Which again, a part of this video is pointing out why Morbius's downfall happened, and when champs come out later or just kind of recently around him that will do very similar things utility-wise, that's usually going to spawn the downfall. So what kind of like defenders is he really good for? Not that many. Like, he's good for some mystics. Like, you can definitely use him against Sasquatch, but Sasquatch isn't the most relevant defender now. You can use him against Enchantress, but he's far from the best option for Enchantress, because of the fact that, you want to play really aggressive, and Enchantress just doesn't let people play aggressive very much because you really need to keep up those bleeds. And yeah, those are just, a couple defenders. I use him for Dr. Doom a lot, but Doom isn't really a meta defender anymore. He's just kind of a guy who just feels kind of stuck in the past, if I'm being entirely honest with you. He just does not feel like a 2023 science champion. 2023 was 2 years ago, but still there are science champs released that year who feel even more relevant than Morbius does for sure, like Photon and Silk, and even Cassie to some extent. So anyway, he still does some really good damage though. Like, I do really like his damage mechanics. This fight is really cool where we're fighting an Onslaught. This is a 6-star Onslaught, and we do have a little bit of extra attack from the node, but the attack that you get from nodes doesn't really benefit Morbius' special 2 because of how much attack he's already increasing it by, so it doesn't scale very well. So yeah, that doesn't really make a big difference. And then Onslaught himself, it's really fun to fight Onslaught with Morbius, because if you don't have a Neuro on you, you can counter his special attack like this, kind of like when you're playing Dazzler. As long as you, again, don't have a Neuro on you, you can just do that, and it's really fun. But other than that, like, you just kind of do a bunch of damage with Morbius, and he just doesn't have a very strong utility kit. A couple other cool things he has is that that fervor buff he's going to get, if it gets neutralized or nullified, it's to Morbius's benefit, because then you can do your glide again. And then if it's neutralized, you get a passive fervor, which still lets you glide again, so you get the best of both worlds then. So here I'm going to fight a Killmonger, kind of just show off a little bit of the ability power rate reduction, which again, you have to activate by getting the bleeds online. You're going to start placing a Petrify, and then the more bleeds you have activated at that point, then the more potent the Petrify is actually going to be. And here I'm going to use my glide to counter his special 1 once he throws it, which he's taken forever to do. So I think I'm going to just push him to special 2 right here. And then we're going to do the glide, and we have 7 bleeds now. I have to get to 10 to place the Petrify. And then we're going to get there by dropping a special 1. And there's the Petrify. Now his ability power rate is much, much lower. and we're going to be able to reduce the ability power rate of Killmonger by quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a special 2 here. I think this node was a BG's meta where you can only do damage in guaranteed crits, and Morbius is very good at doing that because of his special 2 being a guaranteed crit. And you saw the cool little regen at the end of the special 2 as well, which allowed me to go ahead and regen back some of the reverb damage I took. So that was pretty cool. But at the end of the day, you know, what happened to Morbius? Is he still worth ranking? I'm going to put the little card right here. His strength is a fat special 2, decent ability power rate to control and add to that regen control, and fun little anti-neutralize mechanics. Can he help your account? Maybe. I wouldn't say that he's going to help your account more than Sable, who was the first champion in the series, who I gave a yes to. I think Morbius can definitely help an early player. He's just a pretty simple champion with a very large hitting special 2, which can kind of matter for a lot for early game people. And even like as you're playing later in the game, I still think he could be useful. Just because, again, he can nuke defenders in a specific setting, but I just don't think he has a big enough amount of defenders he's good for to really justify you really playing Morbius. So that's kind of why I put him maybe. I don't think he's a flat no, like never touch this champion, but he's not going to help every player out, whereas I think someone like Silver Sable could. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.